Welcome everyone to a new video. On YouTube there are a lot of people simply killing dungeons or explaining them. But no video has it all into one. Which makes sense, because why would you make such a long video? I don't know. Anyway, welcome to killing every dungeon in Dofus Touch. As I said, I will be killing all dungeons, but I will not include the event dungeons, because I simply cannot enter those at the moment. So in this video I will kill every 1 to level 200 non-event dungeon, and I will explain where needed if there is a mechanic. So from the Alberera dungeon all the way up to count. In the description you will see all the dungeons and the timestamp at what point they start, so you can simply click on them to start with whatever dungeon you need. So you can save this video and just click the dungeon you want to have explained, so you can kill it straight after. If there is no voiceover under the dungeon, this means that there is no mechanic. I hope you will enjoy the video, and if you're still struggling with a dungeon, let me know in the comments and maybe I can help you out. We start with the easy dungeons from 1 to level 100, so let's speed those up. Even though it doesn't have a mechanic, you do need to watch out with this one. Boss can kill you one shot from close combat. What's nice is that he has no MP in most turns, so just don't start your game next to him and you'll be fine. Onto the Wabot dungeons. The dungeons themselves are not hard at all. The only problem for some is how to get there. Follow my exact path and you will reach both dungeons. enter the Dragon Pig dungeon, you need to find yourself through a maze. The easiest way to do this is by opening your map, setting a pinpoint on the dungeon and just walk there with the doors. Where someone goes through a door, another door somewhere closes, so it can take you a while, but in reality it's pretty easy. For the dungeon itself, you need to watch out for the spell that Dragon Pig can put on the whole team. He gives you a single AP poison, which insta-kills you if you use some AP. This used to be a 2-turn poison, but nowadays it's just 1. So what you do is simply skip 1 turn and kill him after with no problems. Onto Gourlo the Terrible, the first one with an actual mechanic. What you'll see is that Gourlo places these pirates with a specific elemental resistance. What you need to do is to get Gourlo next to the element you want to kill him with, so let's say it's chance, and make sure he ends his turn next to that pirate. Locking him is the easiest way, but since I don't have any lock myself, I just build him in instead so he can't escape. He can't jump or anything, so once he's locked, you're fine. And then the pirate will on its turn remove the rest in that element and you can kill it easily. The only problem here is that you cannot push the boss. You can push the pirates, but you cannot push the boss. Next up, moon. Prepare for this one because you will need it. First, what you want to do is get 4 of these shells, each for every color. You get them from fighting the turtles on Moon Beach. Check your quest item tab in your inventory because you might already have them. You need 1 each for every moon run. Once you have those shells, you also need 17 coconuts to reach the moon dungeon, and you need a cannibal mask. I will now show you where to go to reach the moon. This NPC will let you pass if you give it the shells. And this NPC will let you pass if you equip the cannibal mask. As you might have already seen, with every map you walk, you lose coconuts. So if you walk the exact path like I did, you spend at least a map. And like I said, you will need a total of 70 coconuts to reach the boss. The boss itself isn't hard anymore. It used to be tricky, but not really anymore. All you need to watch out for is that you don't get pushed into a wall. If that happens, you immediately die. Something that actually happened to me here, so that was pretty bad. Luckily, my team was able to finish the job, and even then nowadays if you die you don't have to walk again. So you can just straight up fight him again without returning to the Zab. In conclusion, don't get pushed into the wall and you'll be fine. It's very good soloable, as long as you don't fuck up, like me. That's 1 to 100 done. Let's get over to the 100 to 150 ones. Starting off with Bherb. Just like the other Automite dungeon, there is a mechanic here. To lower the rest of the Bherb, you need him to activate a spell. There are 2 ways to let him cast this spell. He needs more AP to cast it, so you can do it on 2 ways. Either rape his AP with like Accelor, and that will actually give him AP. Or you can place this blue moth thing next to him, and he will also let him cast that spell. Once he has casted this spell, you can just hit him with spells, and every hit he will give him AP. Once he has enough AP, he will cast this spell, and once this spell is cast, every hit in an element you will do will lower his res. I use the Sakrir here to use Assault. This is a double line spell, so his res goes lower twice as fast. His summon's gonna heal him all the way up to full HP, but once his res is so big in the negatives, it's very easy to kill him either way. Buck Anear is actually the first Frigates 2 dungeon, so you need to do Masto and Ping before this. I just happened to kill him first while recording this. Masto and Ping will come soon after. All you need to do in this dungeon is to get the summon Buck places near the boss so it explodes into him to make him vulnerable for 4 turns. You cannot push the summon, but you can push the boss. It's very easy. Mina is a dungeon with no mechanic, but you do need to watch out for the big spider. The mobs and the boss can make you purple, and once you are in this purple state, the spider can actually one-shot you, so watch out for the spider and you'll be fine. Kanigrula has a mechanic based on summons. Basically you need to put 3 summons down, like I do here with my turrets, and the boss brings them into the heavy state. Keep the summons alive, and in the turn after they get in the super heavy state, keeping them alive one more turn, and then in the next turn he kills all of the summons and becomes vulnerable for 4 turns. Skeunk, you have a doll that full heals the complete team at the end of each turn. To kill this doll, you need to feed him summons. Every summon he eats, he gets 1 AP, and when he has 8 AP, he will explode and then you can kill the rest. Or do what I do and just push back him for death. That's what I like to do because it's fun. Next up, we have Ping, an easy frick 1 dodge. To make the boss vulnerable, you simply need to be healed while standing next to the boss. I use the lifesaver to do that, but if you can't heal yourself, you will need a teammate who can. With every mob you kill, the boss gets more damage and AP, yet I still like to kill him last, because the other mobs are always just buzzy annoying you. Tynril is a dungeon that contains 4 of the same bosses. Each Tynril has his own element he has no resistance in. So you want to find a team that can deal damage into every element so you can kill them easily. The mobs have 2 MP and constantly swap each other and give you big negative resistance. Once they hit you from close combat, they deal around 4 to 5k. So simply make sure to not be hit, and you can push them. Pushback damage is very nice since you don't even have to look at the rest and you can just hit them all. Sphincter is a boss room that exists of both the black and the red we have killed earlier in this video. The way of making the boss vulnerable is similar to Gourlo the Terrible from Ultimate. He places summons, turtles here, that have resistance in a specific resistance, or 2. And you will need to place a summon next to the boss to remove that specific resistance. The problem here is that the boss can jump around every 2 turns. So the best thing to do is put him in the gravity state so he cannot jump, or otherwise let him jump and make sure you lock him on the next turn, so when he can't jump, you can do it. Placing stuff and summons around him works well. In this run we were a bit unlucky with the turtles we got. We didn't want this resistance, but in the end it worked out. The Royal Mastogob is actually the first Freeghost dungeon. To make him vulnerable, you simply need to push him. Watch out though, because if you push him linear and you push him into the wall, everyone linear of him dies instantly. So if you push, make sure he doesn't hit the wall, or simply push him diagonally like I did in my run. Minotot has no mechanic but can be tricky because he has good damage, can sometimes skip your turns, and all of the mobs in the dungeon constantly heal. I wouldn't recommend doing it solo like I did. Kimbo is a dungeon some people struggle with, but it isn't super hard actually. First, what you want to do is decide whether to hit strength and chance, or fire and agility. It's easiest to kill the boss last, so do not touch the boss until then. Once you have beaten the other mobs, you can start to hit the boss in the element you chose. If you chose Strength and Chance, that means you need to be even related to the boss's summon. So T2, 4, 6, 8 cells from the summon, etc. If you do Fire and Agility, it's 1, 3, 5, 7, so odd cells from the boss summon. So once you hit him, stand on a cell either even or odd from the summons, like you with the element you chose. And then the summon on its turn will fill half the map with white cells. What you then want to do is simply push or pull the boss into one of those white cells, and obviously end your turn again either odd or even, depending on which element combo you chose. In the next turn, the boss will be at no rest for the element you chose. What is important to say is that the boss pushes 2 cells, so make sure to not stand one cell of a wall, because then the boss can push you from even to odd or from odd to even. So make sure you can be pushed 2 cells and still end in the same parity zone. Turn off your spotted Dofus if you have it on, because then the boss will push you 3 cells, landing you on the wrong position, and then you will die. You can't kill him with the first time of lowering his res, simply redo the steps until you can. Next up on Freegust is Obsidemon, a very easy dunge. All you gotta do to make the boss vulnerable is simply push a teammate into the boss. That's all you need to do. Furthermore, you need to watch out to be within 7 cells of the summon he places in turn 5, because in turn 5 he explodes. If you're in a bigger range than 7 cells, you simply die. Then over to the Snowfox dungeon. In this dungeon you need to push the yokai diagonal to the boss and the yomi linear to the boss and hit him with a weapon, as you can see here. If you do just one of these, the boss can actually one-shot you, so you make sure you do both in the same turn, and then you'll be able to hit him for 4 turns. So do not kill these mobs, as you will need them to make the boss vulnerable. In the Snowfuck dungeon, you can actually choose to fight Tengu and Fuji together. Fuji is vulnerable from the start, Tengu is not, so you'll have to make him, just like how we did it in the single Tengu dungeon. You need to watch out with Fuji, because he can actually one-shot from close range. So either just stay back and push, or try to kill him as soon as possible. I was with some girlies here, they actually wanted me to do Tengu first and Fuji last. So that's what we did, but it's easier to just kill Fuji first. Ougaa has no vulnerability mechanic, but you still need to watch out with him. He has good damage, can spawn a summon, and if you're unlucky you get the Mush Munch, who does good damage and rapes a lot of AP. And the boss can also put himself in a healing spell, which full heals himself whenever you hit him. So you shouldn't hit him at all when he has this state, or simply unbewitch it, which is possible, and then you can just hit him normally. The Akwadala dungeon is pretty easy. The boss sacrifices all the mobs, and once she reaches like 40% HP, she comes close, and when she does that you have 7 turns to kill the boss. After those turns she will insta-kill everyone. Also watch out for the fat mob. You can skip your turn and one-shot you in the turn after. In my run I mostly do pushback damage, so the boss doesn't go under 40% while all the mobs are killed. So this is not a normal run. I just used the turret to hit her and eventually she came and I killed her after. when you're doing the Fire Pandala Dunge, at the start of each turn you get a lantern. What you simply need to do is make sure that the lantern on its second turn starts it in line with the boss or simply one of the mobs. Once he does that, it explodes and it makes the mobs hittable. You just gotta watch out that you do not actually get hit by the lanterns themselves, because they do quite some damage. Furthermore, the boss becomes invisible and does a lot of damage, so that makes it hard. this dungeon you fight Colosso and Professor Xa. In this dungeon you cannot heal yourself or your teammates, so that makes it hard. Summons like the Lifesaver, the chest or the inflatable can. It's easiest to kill Xa first, hitting him from close by will heal you. Push Colosso away, he has a close combat attack that can hit a lot of targets, so best is for him not being able to hit someone. To make Colosso vulnerable, you need to hit him with a summon. If this summon gets killed, you can't hit him anymore and you'll need a new summon. And by the way, please don't cancel my guildies. quest, so this is an important one. Bring a shrimp or a panda for it. In the first 3 turns you want to hit him with strength, chance and intelligence, and it will make him spawn a tentacle of each element. You want to place him like this with a panda westa because then you can skip your turns, and this way you're free to move around. It's also good to set up in a line like this, so he can hit everyone, because you can only hit the one in front. Once you have those 3 sorted, you can hit him with edgy to get the most important tentacle. Once you have it, you want to hit it with a weapon, and place him in this position, and put a summon against it. In the turn after, you hit him with the weapon again and place him right in front of the boss, and again you put a summon. In the turn after, he becomes vulnerable and you can kill the boss. If you can blitz him, you have to redo the process. bosses start invulnerable. To make them vulnerable, you need to raise Hanshi's Wukin and Shihan's Wukong to 10 out of 10 at the same time. The catch is that Shihan increases Hanshi's Wukong every turn, while Hanshi only boosts Shihan's Wukong every 3 turns. That means you need to keep them close together and manage the timing. When both states hit 10-10, they become vulnerable for 3 turns and share damage. That's your damage window. If you kill one while the other is still invulnerable, the fight's over, because you need to both of them to make the other vulnerable. So this is going to require a lot of skipping. when you're doing the Fire Pandala Dunge, at the start of each turn you get a lantern. What you simply need to do is make sure that the lantern on its second turn starts it in line with the boss or simply one of the mobs. Once he does that, it explodes and it makes the mobs hittable. You just gotta watch out that you do not actually get hit by the lanterns themselves, because they do quite some damage. Furthermore, the boss becomes invisible and does a lot of damage, so that makes it hard.
kill the Sakai boss. We'll need to wait for him to place a summon. Then he will use a spell on this summon, which makes him brown. Once he is brown, you can push the summon next to him and kill the summon. Then he becomes vulnerable for 2 turns. And all you need to make sure is that you don't rape him AP or MP, because then he gets 8000 resistance and you have to wait for a new summon. So as long as you don't do that, it's a pretty easy kill. Kill the Sakai boss. You will need to wait for him to place a summon. Then he will use a spell on this summon, which makes him brown. Once he is brown, you can push the summon next to him and kill the summon. Then he becomes vulnerable for 2 turns. And all you need to make sure is that you don't rape him AP or MP, because then he gets 8000 resistance and you have to wait for a new summon. So as long as you don't do that, it's a pretty easy kill. In the Celestial Barbarian, it's easiest to kill the boss last. It's important to know that every pushback here you get is an insta-death. So this is why you want to kill the Rampart Barbarian as soon as possible, because he can push you 2 cells. Once you kill the other mobs, to make the boss vulnerable, you simply have to hit him from close combat. But everything in the 4-cell cross around the boss gets sent 4 cells backwards. And again, if you end up in the wall here, you are dead. This also counts if you is a teammate in the 4-cell range near the boss, then he also gets 4 cells pushed backwards. So you should always push your teammates, just pause if you will kill your teammates with a back push. Only the one who triggered the Vuln can hit him for just that turn, so everyone has to CC him every turn to hit. What's the most important here is not to rape MP, AP or range, or push or pull the boss. If you do this, he will respawn the mobs, which is obviously not what you want, especially if he revives the Rampart one, because he can push you to death.
to the level 200 dungeons. We start off with Plantala, aka Damadria. Before we go in, it's nice to have your leap pies leveled to level 6 and also make sure you have the Kawat spell. You don't have to have it level 6, just have it. It's easiest to kill the boss last. Once you killed all the mobs, you want to set up cowards in this way. This is because with every hit you do to the boss, you get pulled into him, and if you end up in the black cliff, you die. So what you want to do is, as a team, is make sure you all get your leaf state to level 1. You start at 6, and with every hit it goes down. Once this is done and every character is at 1, you can go linear with the boss to turn into a leaf. Make sure everyone turns into a leaf, because if you don't, you die. Once you do this and the first player gets to move again, you can make him vulnerable for 4 turns with a weapon hit. Then make sure to go as far as possible, because from close by you can one-shot. Also make use to not summon, because you can use this to get more MP. Generally his damage is much higher once he is hittable. In this run we use the Anear and the Fog purely as bait, because they are pushback, and the boss is rooted, so they can actually do much damage. So we just lured him away from the charge that actually can do damage, and they were able to finish it off. And onto the last Akwadala dungeon, the Lost Souls dungeon. In this dungeon it is important to have some chairs that can push, because you can't hit any mob at the start and you need to kill the boss last. So what's easiest to do is to push the boss linear with the mobs to make them vulnerable. You can also push the mobs diagonal from each other, but just do the boss linear and that's the easiest.
Once the process is done and you have killed all the mobs, you'll see that they transfer into souls, 2 red ones and a blue one. The red ones needs to be pushed or pulled diagonally with the boss and the blue one linear. Once this is done, the boss becomes vulnerable for 1 turn. So that is not too hard. But what you need to make sure is that you do not ever push the blue one diagonal or the red ones linear, because if you do that, they enter the resonance state, and that means you have to skip a full turn for this to go away.
It sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Time for victory, starting up with the easiest one, Missiz Freez. At the start of every turn, you see 4 black cells around you. If you step on a cell, that becomes a trigger that pushes you 1 step forward. It also pushes teammates and enemies. The range is 6 cells linear and 3 cells diagonal. If you push back a teammate into the wall with this mechanic, they die, so always check if there are teammates on the line you're gonna click. With this mechanic, you also need to make the mobs vulnerable, and the boss, of course. So simply by pushing them with this trigger, they will become hittable for 1 turn. Normal pushing with like a release, that doesn't work. Using pushback damage is not a good idea here, as it can heal the boss and can give you erosion. Next up is Klime. In this dungeon, every enemy makes a cell at the start of the turn, which stays for 2 turns. For turn 3 and onwards, you need to finish in one of those cells to not die. The first player of the team can actually survive without ending in the cell in turn 3, and the rest has to. Onwards, everyone has to. It's good to kill the Dumple first, as he become unmovable and he can lock pretty well, so that can be very annoying to end in the cell, so get him first. Once a mob dies, so do their cells. Vulnerability of the boss is the same as the Obsidunge. Push your teammate into him, but in this dungeon, summons actually work, so you can use summons to make the boss vulnerable here. The Astera rapes MP, so that can also be annoying to end in your turn, into a cell, sorry. What we did is simply kill the Dumble first, and then we got Klime himself, because you can't hit him until the 3rd turn, so killing the Dumble first is very nice. And what we had is that the other 2 mobs were sitting in the corner and they didn't have the MP to get out, so we could kill Klime very easily. It's pretty easy to kill him, but you do need to watch out, because at some point you will need to use his cells to reach the other mobs. So you have to keep Klime alive for just a little bit longer, so you can use his cells to reach the other mobs. Sylargh, you can hit every mob without vulnerability. Every turn, Sylargh and its mobs can revive the last mob that has died, spawning its 6 cells to the right or clockwise if it's blocked. If only one monster is left, it can bring all the dead ones back in a chain. You need to kill a zombie mob, so one that has been revived, and hit the boss with the explosion, which is 5 cells to make him vulnerable. But beware, the whole team needs to have lower than 89% AP, because otherwise you all die. When you kill a zombie mob, the explosion also hurts to everyone within the range. Nileza is the hardest dungeon out of the 4 for me. The first thing you need to know is that in every turn you need to have a distance of minimal 2 and maximum 9 cells with your teammate. If you don't hold this range, the teammate will die. In all turns you need to start it close to Nileza. 3 and 5, turn 3 and 5 it's 9 range, turn 7 it's 7 range, and from turn 9 and the rest of the game it's 5 range in all turns. If you hit the boss, use Whopper and deal big damage, 3 cells around the place boss lands. This can hit both teammates but can also kill the mobs, and that makes it very easy. To make Nileza vulnerable you simply need to push her, and a release works here, so that's good. After turn 9 you cannot heal anymore, and here's a conclusion of everything you need to do in every turn. Here is a conclusion of everything you need to do in every turn. Count is where the real fun starts. Before we even start, it's good to look at this picture. Percentage of your AP decides where your spells will end. That means that if you are 95% HP, you will have to click the spell 90 degrees anti-clockwise to hit in front of you. If you are in the range under that, you need to click 90 degrees clockwise to hit in front of you. 74 to 46 is the easiest. Here you can simply hit behind you and it will reach in front of you. The lower brackets work the same as the first two. To give a better view, I will show you the start of the fight as a good example. Here you see the start of the fight. The panda starts with hitting the cycloid. If the panda wouldn't have been hit, you would have to click the spell 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So you would have to hit 4 cells to the right, so where the eye up is, so to land the spell on the cycloid. Now he is in fact been hit, so he actually has to click behind him, because he is under 74%. If he had 75 to 90%, he would have to go one step closer to the cycloid and hit in the cell next to the wall to land the spell at the cycloid, because you can only hit 3 cells to the right, so you would have to go one step closer. I hope you now understand the mechanic of hitting. If you still do not, hopefully you will learn it while watching the whole run, and after giving it a try yourself, it will go much better. But if you are rusty, just like us in this run, after not doing it for quite a while, what you simply can do is throwing a leak pie 1 cell in front of you and see where it lands. From there on you can play your turn normally, because now you know where to click. It costs a little AP, but it's much better than wasting all your AP into nothing. One last thing is that every close combat damage, your confusion changes. I personally don't even know exactly what is the correct way to hit, so I simply try not to CC at any mob. That's just what works best for me. Okay, now we know how to hit, we can go over to other facts of the dungeon. Every turn, Count makes a 4 cell cross around himself. If you start your turn in this cross, you die instantly. You can end your turn in this cross, but you simply cannot start in it. So it's not smart to go lock Count, as he will place a new cross on his turn, and you're dead if you cannot be saved. Furthermore, you want to kill all the mobs and keep him last. Cycloid is the best to kill first. He can become immovable and locks, so that's very annoying. Ubotron gives erosion, but doesn't deal much damage until he has been hit. So on full HP, he does no damage on long range. He can only do a little hit from close combat. He can deal up to 2k if he has low HP. So if you're gonna hit him, kill him within a turn. The Nocturne Owl is annoying because he can unheal you. So best is to just get all 3 of them out of the way before you even touch Count. Once the mobs are dead, you can start thinking about making him vulnerable. First, I'm gonna tell you why it's important to know to look what turn it is. Because on every odd turn, if you hit the boss, you jump over him. So if you are 4 cells from the boss and you hit him, you will be TP'd 4 cells on the other side. So this is only in odd turns. In the even turns, count is the one swapping. So if you then hit count, he jumps over you instead. What's the most important thing here is if you swap or when count swaps and someone ends up in the wall, your whole run is gone and you need to redo and the whole team dies. So if you are 6 cells away from count and on the other side there's only 5 cells to a wall, you will, if you hit him, you die. And this can legit ruin 30 minutes of gameplay just because of a little mistake. So please watch out when and where you are gonna hit. To make Count vulnerable, you need to hit him in an even turn, so he jumps over you. Then you need a teammate to swap places with Count. So Count and the teammate have to be on the same range of you, so both 3 cells or both 4 cells. So then you hit Count, he will go to the other side and the teammate will also go to the other side, and then he's vulnerable for just 1 turn. In the turn after, he does a spell, like the old school rogue did, the roguery spell. If he is vulnerable, you can find your real one to further do damage, but be aware that if you hit him, you're gonna swap over him. And if you're gonna end up in a wall, you're dead. So always hit him from close, because then you're probably not gonna end up in the wall. Or just use a push, like the any push is very useful here. Just beware where you are and where you're gonna end before even hitting him. You can also just leave him in the roguery state, as long as you make sure that no one is... you can also just leave him in the roguery state, but be aware he's gonna make a cross on one of those 4 places. So if you're gonna do that, make sure no one of your team is in line with a potential cross of one of the actual counts. So one more time, always just look when you're gonna hit him, where am I gonna end? Or in the even turns, where is Count gonna end? Just think about that really good and you should be fine. Now it's a matter of just repeating this process. So every even turn you try to make him vulnerable, and after a few turns you are ready to finish the fight. Just don't rush it, and always think where you or Count are gonna end if you hit him. Good luck.